Now, y'all say December 25th was Christ's birthday, right? And if you celebrate it, God know your heart, right? And everyone who said it wasn't and who didn't get in that Christmas spirit was a coon, right? Well, let's roll that beautiful bean footage and see how the world celebrated Christ's birthday. I better see some reverencing. I better hear some scripture. I better see some soul searching, better yet repenting. Cause how you gonna celebrate the birthday of the Savior but do nothing he said? Nothing he said.
You don't know how this works, do you?
It's my first day.
Now, before we look into what everybody was doing around the Christmas holidays, we're gonna break down something deep first. Let's get it.
Good evening, I'm Rick Sugarplum. Breaking news tonight of an incident which led to a fire at Santa's workshop in Toy Production North.
News tonight of an incident which led to a fire at Santa's workshop in Toy Production North.
Our own Donnie Chestnut is live at the scene. Donnie, what's going on and will it affect Christmas?
Yes, I believe he is. But sir, there's an electrified fence around the perimeter.
It don't matter about no electrified fence. The bear came right through the fence. It looked just like Jurassic Park. It just ran through the fence. These bears are out there and they're hungry because of global warming and they smelled that fresh elf meat and went crazy. The bears are coming for us, y'all. Ah! Ain't no thoughts and prayers. How about sending some guns and ammunition? Because there's some bear traps. Because more bears are coming. And they eating it. Eating is good, don't stay a secret for long. We're up here, we're defenseless, and we're small, we're adorable, and we're chewable.
Listen, this stuff is coded, y'all. Santa's workshop, I know it may seem crazy. It is the United States. Didn't I tell y'all that states mean plantations? The Santa of our era is really this guy right here. The global warming that Eddie is talking about is equivalent to the climate control Obama was talking about. Remember the decoded conversation?
These bears are out there and they're hungry because of global warming and they smelled that fresh elf meat and went crazy. The bears are coming for us, y'all. Ah!
We're not going to completely reverse the warming that now is inevitable, but we can stop it before it becomes catastrophic. Even if somebody came in campaigning on denying climate science, reality has a way of, hitting you in the nose if you're not paying attention.
See, they have a coded system where they double talk.
If all you're doing is casting stones, you're probably not going to get that far. That's easy to do.
If all you're doing is casting stones, you're probably not going to get that far. That's easy to do.
The weather talk is really the suppression and condition of the slaves. The controlling of climate is the control of slaves.
Fine, I'm curious. What makes you such a Mandingo expert?
I'm curious what makes you so curious.
You're probably not going to get that far.
What did you say, boy?
Calm down, Butch.
So Obama's talking about all of this with the global warming and that. A lot of it's a hoax. It's a hoax. I mean, it's a money-making industry, okay? It's a hoax.
No. It's really what I just told y'all it is.
And the best scientists in the world are all telling us that our activities are changing the climate. And if we don't act forcefully, and massive disruptions that can trigger greater migration and conflict and hunger around the globe. The Pentagon says that climate change poses immediate risks to our national security. We should act like it. And that's why I will not let this Congress endanger the health of our children by turning back the clock on our efforts.
If they start moving, then you start seeing scarce resources the subject to competition between populations. This is the reason why the Pentagon has said this is a national security issue. This isn't just an environmental issue. This is a national security issue.
And there was speculation earlier today that China was planning to declare martial law this Sunday as the government faces resistance from within. The foreign minister is now denying this. Christian Whiten joins us now by the phone from Hong Kong. So, Christian, what are you hearing about this rumor of martial law?
Well, David, there is concern among those in the know that Beijing is not going to let what's happening here slide. That's not actually deterring any of the protesters. I think they realize this is an absolutely essential thing for them to do. It's sort of a last chance, a last stand, one that you can't come back from.
Sometimes chaotic and violent demonstrations yesterday. Washington, D.C. police used pepper spray to break up a crowd that had gathered on K Street last night. One protester tossed an American flag onto a bonfire. All throughout Inauguration Day, police had their hands full with some demonstrators who smashed storefronts and set a limousine on fire.
So global warming is the slavery breeding grounds becoming too woke and aware in a particular area of the deception around them. And that eventually creates an uprising that will crash the pyramid. A pyramid they work so hard in building.
But this country needs more than a building right now. It needs hope.
Stand down! Stand down!
You gotta remember, the rich have stayed rich by always creating barriers, whether visible or invisible, because there's both. You gotta listen. Eddie also says, send some guns and ammunition.
We don't need no thoughts and prayers. How about sending some guns and ammunition? How about sending some guns and ammunition?
See, I've been telling y'all, they taking up your guns just to leave you with pots and pans when everything kicks off. Let's roll some footage on them collecting your guns. And if my calculations are correct, they have confiscated millions of weapons from civilians since the gun buyback program began in the early 2000s.
Well, Brennan, this past weekend, the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office collected thousands of guns in their buyback. These are guns they say could have been used in crimes.
And we should buy back those weapons, and I'm quoting, criminally prosecute any who refuse to, choose to defy it by keeping their weapons. So you're going to prosecute people who don't give up their weapons. That's gun confiscation.
Had drop-off locations where people could bring their guns this past weekend. Now, there was a $200 cash incentive for people to do this. Still, according to authorities, the response was unprecedented. 2 miles of cars, for instance, backed up in the city of Oakland. Here's what one person had to say.
It hit me pretty strong.
Is that why you brought the guns?
Absolutely. Absolutely why I brought them. I mean, I never thought about getting rid of them before.
In all, nearly 600 guns were collected between the two cities, guns of every type, handguns, assault weapons, shotguns. Those guns will ultimately be destroyed.
See, I've been telling y'all, they taking up your guns just to leave you with pots and pans when everything kicks off. And if my calculations are correct, they have confiscated millions of weapons from civilians
since the gun buyback program began in the early 2000s.
Wait. I'm supposed to be showing y'all Christmas videos, right? Because they said Christmas is of Christ, right? Well, we gonna see.
Alright you guys, so we're going to be doing a gingerbread house building competition. So we're going to put you guys in teams of two. You will have 1 hour to build the best gingerbread house that you possibly can using all the materials in your kit. And at the end of 1 hour, we will compare them and the winners will receive a very special gift at the end of the night.
Now you show me what the Bible talk about gingerbread houses. Some of y'all, most of y'all ain't ate no ginger. And we barely got enough money to get bread. Times is hard out here.
Phil, what are you talking about? We love having you here.
And of course, this is our first Christmas with our soon-to-be son-in-law, Matthew. When you two got engaged, all of us were just smiling from ear to ear.
Why? Why can't I marry him? Because he's white? Yes!
I better see some reverence. I better hear some scripture. I better see some soul searching, better yet repenting. Cause how you gonna celebrate the birthday of the Savior but do nothing he said?
Look at this, bro. Look at this. Hey. Take that. Yeah. Pull it. Pull it.
Just gotta make it through the day, and there's no other way. Gonna get drunk, drunk, drunk on Christmas.
This bird, was she?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I likes that. Yeah, keep it pimping. Yeah, pimps need Christmas too.
My, isn't it a beautiful day? It sure is in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. I've got some absolutely wonderful news for those of you who don't believe in celebrating Christmas. But I'm gonna wait for a few of you to log in. Now, we know every year around this time, we have this debate. You've got these religious folks who love to say, you shouldn't celebrate Christmas.
Well, I am. Yes, I certainly am. Do you know you're the most wonderful person in the whole world? That's right. And I like you. Yes. And I hope you love me too. It's just a beautiful day to be alive, isn't it? Well, boys and girls, why don't we go over and talk to Mr. Fish?
What's the best way to have fun at 12 bars?
Best way to have fun? Get too drunk than you should be.
Too drunker than you should be. How much?
Hello!
How mad are you?
Don't talk to me.
You realize you're crying over a phone?
What happened was I got in a fight with my mom because this is the phone I wanted, Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge Plus, and this is the phone I got, Samsung Galaxy S6. And as you can see, there's a pretty drastic difference between the two. So that made me really angry, and I broke one of my MacBooks. The reason I need 4 MacBooks is because this one's for sending messages, this one's for receiving messages, this one is for blocking messages, and then this one right here is for leaving messages on scene.
I better see some reverencing. I better hear some scripture. I better see some soul searching, better yet repenting. Cause how you gonna celebrate the birthday of the Savior but do nothing he said?